Okay, welcome back, Bacho. Um, Now I'll be talking a bit more about the one-to-one functions and the domain of a function and what happens if you change the domain of a function. Okay, so let us talk about in a bit more detail because now we are getting on to our syllabus because before this in this previous segment we were only discussing the functions in general, okay, and that was a kind of the introduction to the function as well. Okay, so let me make some space here for our work. Okay, now please remember, bacho, if someone says that, come on, yeah, people get in now. Okay, if someone says that there's a function f of x that is, let's say, 2x minus 3. So what is lacking in it? What is lacking in it?
Domain. Domain.
Domain. So it means this information is incomplete for you, okay? You cannot consider this as a function. Okay, guys? This is one thing. Secondly, you have uh, f of x. Your Zainab Atif, your internet is, what should I say now? Okay, now you have Zainab. Okay, so we have f of x. Suppose this is, I'm not going to enter, like, this is really annoying. Is x squared minus 3.
So you can disable the waiting room.
Okay, so this is f of x, that is x squared minus 3. And you're given the domain that x is all real values. Then we have f of x, that is x squared minus 3. It is x is all positive values. Then we have f of x, that is x squared minus 3. That is, let's say, x is between 0 and 5. Okay? So, bacho, what is wrong over here in this notation information that is here, the right hand side? Yes. Okay, no problem. I tell you. You see, all these three functions, they contain this x squared minus 3. But all three of them, they have a different domain. So when there is a different domain, you will have to change the name, okay? If this is f of x, this cannot be f of x. You might name this as g of x, okay? And the next one can be named as h of x, okay? This can be named as h of x over here, okay? So you see, please note it down. The expression is same, the quadratic expression is same, but the domain is different, okay? So this means this is going to be a different function, okay? Now suppose if I show you its plot over here, okay? Now please bacho, dhyan se zara. Now this is minus 3 over here, and this is your function, okay? Now, this is the sketch for this f of x here. If this is the domain, okay, what kind of function is this? Yes. Is it a
One
one-to-one
function.
function? Is it a many-to-one function? Or,
Many to one.
Many to one.
huh? It is
Many
many.
to one.
It is many to one. Because if you draw a horizontal line, this will be passing twice through this. Okay? Now, if you focus on this function, बेटा ये बातें सारी नोट करने वाली हैं यार. तुम लोगों ने अगर नोट नहीं करोगे ना तो I'm really sorry. तुम लोग समझोगे नहीं प्रिंट होना. Look at this domain. It means we have to focus on the curve for all the positive values of x. Okay? So I will be taking this part of the curve now. This part of the curve, the red one. Here, your x is positive, more than or equal to 0. Okay? So now, what kind of a function is this g of x?
One to one.
Yeah, this is going to be a one-to-one function. This one is a one-to-one function. Okay. And from 0 to 5, this is like, suppose you have 5 over here. Okay, so for 0 to 5, this is also going to be a one-to-one function. So please remember, a different domain with the same expression means the function is altogether a different function. Okay, so now let me see. Yes, now I think, let me just have a look onto it. If we can really try this exercise, uh, yes, we can try this exercise up to question number 4. No, up to question number 3. Yes, up to question number 3. We shall go from 4 onwards tomorrow, inshallah. Okay. Now, Bacho, look at all these questions. You try them first, then I'll come back to explain if you people are correct or not. Okay, I gave you these diagrams in the previous session, and we discussed that which one is one to one, which is many to one to many, or which is defined and which is not defined. Okay. Now, please remember, these are the two cases where you have, these are not representing the defined functions. Okay. Now, this one is one to many case. Okay. So we are already familiar with this. Yes, this cannot be a defined function. But if you look at this one, this 3 does not have any image over here. Okay. So if your function does not have an image for any value of x, which is there, which is a part of the domain, so that means that function is also not defined. Okay. For example, if you have to find, for example, a very typical situation as you have in your G part, you have, let's say G equal to, sorry, this is Y equal to under root X, and the domain is all real values. Okay. Just ignore this positive thing over here for a minute. So it means we, in all these real values, we have X equal to -1 as well, all the minus values. So can we find the square root of -1?
No.
No? Oh, yes.
No.
No. So that means this will be undefined if you put your x as -1. So this is, you have seen that this is clearly mentioned in many cases where your function gets undefined. So this has to be mentioned. You see, in this, he has told you that, okay, x is all real values, but x is positive as well. So that means you have to take all the positive real values as a domain for this function in the part G. Okay, now can I remove this diagram if it is clear that a function is undefined if you don't have the image in the range for any value of the domain? Can I remove this? Yes, Bacho? Does
Yes.
anyone, okay,
Karte.
I have to remove this. Okay. Now, coming back to these last two parts. Now, there is a debate over here. Suppose, even if you were given here that, x is positive, suppose here, this is uh, this is still going to be an undefined function here, and this is a defined function. Do you remember that discussion we did about putting a plus minus before the square root? Do you remember that?
Yes.
When do we put the plus minus with the square root? Hmm?
When you take an under root of a number.
Yeah, when we take the square root on both the sides. But I remember, now suppose, look at this h part. When you take the square root over here, okay, this is y square is equal to 4x. When you take the square root, this will become plus minus under root 4x. Okay, we can write it as plus minus 2 under root x. Let me ignore this 2 here for a minute and explain it to you here. Okay. How many of you know about the graph of under root x? What shape does it have?
It's in the positive x and y part, it's like
Look
a
at this.
curve, and then
You
the
have
negative
y is
x and y
equal
part is
to
a curve.
plus minus under root
It's like a
x.
U.
Look at this. When you have x as 0, your y is 0. When you have x as 1, your y can be 1, your y can be minus 1. Okay. Let me take this 1 here. Okay.
It's a c basically.
Yeah, it's a C exactly. Okay. It can be 1, it can be minus 1. When I take this as 4, okay, let's say 4 is here. So it can be 2, it can also be minus 2. So you have here 2 and minus 2. When you have 9, it can be 3, it can be minus 3. So now please tell me, pass, will this graph pass a vertical line test or not?
No.
No, because this 4 has got two images. This 9 has got two images. Like if I draw it here like this, okay. So 1 and minus 1, they both have an image 1. So this is becoming a one to many function. So which means this is not a defined function, okay. So therefore, I think he has by mistaken written it that this is a defined function. This under root x, yes, this is defined because there is already a square root with this, okay. So we don't need to put a plus minus over here. But since we're taking the square root ourselves, so we have to put a plus minus with this
Sir,
4x.
and also because उसकी domain के अंदर x is more than 1, so it वो minus y के axis में नहीं बनेगा.
Yeah, that is also a reason. But even if the domain had all the positive values, this was still an undefined function. Okay, this was still an undefined function. Anyhow, bacho, I just want to conclude today's session. I want you people to recall. Let me give you the list, and inshallah tomorrow I will talk more about it. You go back home and you try to review that if you people know the graphs of these functions. Okay, I'll be like, if you know this, only then you can do this first and all these questions here. Now we have done this a sine x, a cos x, and blah blah, a tan x as well. Okay, and yeah, you have to review all these graphs when you go home. Only then you can respond to these questions, these questions 1, 2, and 3. Okay. If you people think that you are aware of these graphs, then I can give you the answers to this first question. Should I carry on? I have already told you about this G part, that how would its graph look like. Hmm? Let me try. If you think that these are beyond your imagination or your understanding, then we can come back tomorrow and we can try them. Okay. Now
Yes,
let's.
sir. कल कर लेंगे.
You want to do this tomorrow? Okay. So you must revise this thoroughly, okay, before we do this tomorrow, inshallah. So now this discussion, I'm just going to give you a summary that what we have discussed so far. So you people are going to be, confirming this, that I have told you about the functions notation. Okay. I have told you that what is the domain and what is range. I haven't told you how to find the range. That we shall be doing tomorrow, inshallah. Okay. What is domain? What is range? What is a one-to-one function? What is a one-to-many function? What is a many-to-one function? If you don't understand these terms, you will have to go back to the video. Okay. Maybe the first part of this video. Okay. And then the defined functions, defined and undefined functions. And we've also discussed the vertical line test and the horizontal line test. Okay. So inshallah, we'll build the whole topic on it. In our tomorrow's class, we shall cover the domain and range. And after that, we shall cover the composite functions, the inverse, and then so on. Okay. Thank you very much, Bacho.